Okay, it appears that we are struggling with this worksheet, so I'm going to do a couple of examples for you of what we're looking for. We are doing zero product property. Anytime we're doing zero product property, that means that we need our equations to equal 0. So unfortunately for number 1, we had to move our 1 over to get this equation to equal 0. Now I can factor it because it equals 0. Always start with looking for GCF. There is no GCF here, so that's not the type I'm going to use. The next one to check is dots, difference of 2 squares. 2 squares, meaning you're going to need 2 terms. There are 2 terms and a difference in the middle. I have an even exponent and a perfect square, so this is dots. That's going to be type B. And then I have to go ahead and factor it because I want to solve. So to do dots, I do double bubble with different signs. I split up my x's. There's 2, so I get 1 in each. And I take the square root of the second term and put it in the second spot. So square root of 9 is 3, so 3 and 3. Now that I have this times this equal to 0, I can tee off and set them both equal to 0 so that I can solve. So on this side I would minus 3 on each side, get x equals negative 3, and on this side I would add 3 to each side and get x equals positive 3. And that is all you have to do. For the next one, I'm already solved or set equal to 0, so I have to start looking at my factoring types. Is there a GCF? Always start with your greatest coolest friend. There is no coefficient here and no x here, so there is no GCF. Next, I would look to see if it's dots, but there are not 2 terms. There are 1, 2, 3, so it cannot be dots. I must use reverse box. So this is going to be type C. That means I multiply A times C, which is 1 times 12. I get positive 12, and I find the factors of 12 that add to my middle term. 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. 12 is positive, so my pairs agree. I have a negative set and a positive set. And the ones that add to 8 are 2 and 6. Now in this case, my coefficient, my leading coefficient, or my A value, don't forget that these are ax squared plus bx plus c. So my A value is 1, so I don't actually have to use the reverse box method. I can just do a double bubble and fill in the factors that I got. Positive 2, positive 6, set equal to 0. Once it's equal to 0, you tee off. Set them both equal to 0, because if this times this is 0, 1 must equal 0, and then solve. So x equals negative 2, or x equals negative 6. For this one, it's already equal to 0, but it's already factored for me. What kind of factoring would this be? GCF. They took out a GCF. It's undistributing, so this would be type A. And you can tee off because it's already done for you. So 2x equals 0, x minus 8 equals 0, and solve. Over here, to solve for x, I would divide by 2. 0 divided by anything is equal to 0. And over here, I would add 8. This equals 8. And those are my solutions, my zeros, my roots, my x-intercepts. I'm going to jump down to 6 because this one is tricky and you have to use reverse box method. So I look for GCF first. I cannot divide 81 by 4 or 2, which is the other factor of 4. So therefore, there is no GCF. I have to use the reverse box method, C. And that means I multiply my A term times my C term, 4 times 81, which is going to give me, yikes, the calculator. Sorry about that. 4 times 81, it's going to give me 324. Positive. So now I need the factors of 324 that are going to add to 36, the middle term. So we're still following that rule. I don't feel like listing all the factors of 324, so I'm going to go to my calculator and do that factor trick. 324 divided by x. Go to the table and start scrolling down. So I've got 1 and 324, 2 and 162. These are obviously not adding to 36, so I'm going to keep moving. 12 and 27, that's a little bit over 36. 18 plus 18 is 36. So this is where reverse box comes in. Because my A value is greater than 1, I have to use reverse box method. I know it's annoying, but it's foolproof and it works. So you put your first term in the top left box. You put your third term in the bottom right box. Oops, feeling a little dyslexic here. And you replace your middle term with the two factors that add to it. So it's going to be plus 18x plus 18x. Now the whole point of reverse box is that we're going to take out the GCF from each column and each row. So on this side, I can take out an x from each, but I can also divide each of these terms by 2. So 2x is my GCF here. My GCF between 18 and 81, I'm not really sure, so I'm going to use that foolproof method. 81 divided by x, 18 divided by x, put in my two numbers, and I go to my table. Always start with the smaller number, which is 18. And look for your list of two integers. There it is, 9 and 2. So 9 is my GCF here. Okay, on this side, I have the same thing that I had down here, so that's a 2x. And over here, I have the same thing I had over here, so that's a 9. So my factors of this one are 2x plus 9 and 2x plus 9 equal to 0. And after I do that, T off, set them both equal to 0. And solve. And I really only have to do one because they are the same thing. 2x equals negative 9 divided by 2. X equals negative 9 over 2 or negative 4.5. And again, this is the same thing, so we're going to have only one solution for this one. That means it crosses the x-axis only one time. Okay, there's a whole bunch more on here. Make sure that you look for GCF first. And after that, factor and T off. Hope that helps.